Whoa, whoa, whoa. I think that's rolling. Yeah. All right. What's going on, everybody? We are here again. Another Thursday night, live, doing coffee and cigars, as always, here on the Ono Coffee channel. This is OnoLive number 83. We are 83. So we are 17 weeks away from our 100th episode, which we're going to be doing, I think, in July. I should look it up. What does it say? It says on the show notes down below, which is actually, strangely enough, rather difficult for me to check out on my own from here without having to go through all these different websites. So what's going on? How have you all been doing this week? We're back again. It's Thursday, March 3rd. We're into March now, though. 2022 is moving along fast. COVID is going away. War is coming. Maybe nuclear holocaust will join us in a few weeks. We may not make it to the 100th episode. But, you know, that could be. What's up, Brian? How you doing, man, tonight? Good. So what do you guys, who's out there? Drop your comments down below. Let me know what you're smoking, what you're drinking. As always, I'm always interested to know those things. We're here again, and yeah, it's nice. It's a nice night. We had some rather mild weather, but still a little bit chilly, but mild overall. I'm wearing shorts again. Yeah, because, you know, I'm a little bit hard-headed like that. All right, so we're not going to waste any time. We're going to go right into stuff. We're going to be doing the El Bombo Organic from Colombia, and this is from South Huila, and it's a wash process Castillo. What's up, Steve? How are you doing today, man? Good to see you. How's things in Phoenix? And of course, as you can see here, from 2,100 meters in Huila, as well as notes of dark chocolate, full body, and does that say toffee? Toffee. Must be toffee. Yes, so it's an organic coffee from Mono Roasters in Saudi Arabia. So we're going to go check this out. We're having this today, and it's a really pretty coffee. We've actually drank this before because I still have a lot more of it. So it's got some nice fruity characteristics to it. Now it's a little bit more on the warmer leather kind of wood, maybe like a cedary kind of wood on the nose. So we're going to make this today, but we're going to make it a little bit fancy. We're going to use the AeroPress. And if you're not familiar, AeroPress is this brewing device that is kind of like a big syringe. And we're going to be making it with this. The AeroPress is actually one of the more recent type of coffee brewers. It was actually developed in California by this guy by the name of, Alan Adler is his name. I should know the last name Adler because that's the same name as my uncle. So Alan Adler created this. He owns a company called AeroBee, and AeroBee makes these like rings that fly, like a frisbee, but it's a ring bee. They call it the AeroBee. You know, some kind of bee, that kind of thing. Brian says, I need to bring by my green beans from our trip to Atlanta. Yeah, come on by, man. No problem. Let's roast those coffees up. I mean, gosh, it's there. We can really, the nice thing about those beans, we can really explore the effect of aging on them. How are beans? So those beans, we went to the trade show, which is happening again this coming April, next month. And what was it? It was in Atlanta that year. It was 2004. So those beans are now from the 2003, 2004 harvest. Actually, they're from the 2000. Well, some of the, depending on if they're Central American, they could be from that year's harvest, or if they're from other parts of the world, they're typically probably would be from 2003. So they are almost, they're pushing 20 years old now. So it'll be interesting to see the effect that that aging may have had on them. So yeah, bring them by. Let's check it out. All right, so we got the AeroPress. The AeroPress, of course, is a 2-chamber brewing device, kind of like a big syringe, right? This is an older one. Like I've had this for quite a lot of years, and this is one of the ones we actually used at the Hamden shop. So it's well worn. All of the, you can kind of see right here, this is all like gold printing, but it's all been worn away because, you know, it's old now. So I'm going to add our coffee into the top. We're doing what's called the inverted method, right? And inverted means that it's just upside down. With the way that it was designed to brew, it's supposed to be the other way around, and you're supposed to put the cap on with the paper filter. So you put the paper filter in the cap, right? And you put that on top here. And it was designed so that you would brew it this way, right? But the problem is that because it's open here, as soon as you add the water, it starts to flow through. And so people wanted to control the water exposure and infusion more. They wanted to have more control over that. So we came up with this inverted design. So the inverted design is kind of interesting. Well, interesting enough, at least. We're going to take this and where's my timer? There we are. We're going to do 90 seconds of hot water. We're going to take the hot water. We're going to bloom it a little bit. Oh, you know what? I forgot. We're going to start the timer. Normally I have a stir, but I don't have a stirrer with me right now. So we're not going to worry too much about that. Steven out there in Phoenix says 88 sunny with the AC on. Oh, nice, nice. Are you smoking in the AC? That's the question. That's the question. What's up, Rusty? Good to see you there, man. Happy Thursday to you. Happy Thursday. And here's Tony with a PDR El Criolito Robusto and a Diet Cherry Pepsi. How would you say that? Pepsi says light, right? They call everything light. When all the diets like Coca Light. You go to other parts of the world, Coca Light. Or if you go to like other parts that are not Spanish, they're like Coke Light. Everything's light. They say light, not lite. Oh, I should add more. Okay, good. Now we're at 57, almost a minute. So we got about another 30 seconds. I'm going to put the cap on and twist lock it. And then we're going to use our little Hayama glass here. What's up, John? How are you doing, man? Tell Everett we said hello. Yeah, I never had that stir. I always forget the stir. And, actually, it's really just in the drawer behind me, I think. I'm really bad at that. All right, so, 1 minute, 30 seconds. Good. We're going to turn it over like this, right? Look at that. That's professional, isn't it? And then we're just going to offer just a straight press. I'll let you hear it. There's going to be a hiss. I kind of went too fast. So once you hear the hiss, that's all of the water being pushed through it and only the air left remaining. So it just means your brew is finished. All right. So this is enough. So what we're doing is there's only maybe 4 ounces in here. We're making a drink that's 12 ounces. So this is a concentrated brew. Now you can drink it just like this if you want, but I tend to add water. We're going to add water right about there. That'll give us our typical coffee strength. Oh, we've got George here. George, La Opalencia with some neat bourbon. Oh, nice. So there's Rusty here. Brian, good. Mark's in the house. How you doing, Mark? Good to see you. Welcome to the show, as always. We're making the El Bombo from Mono Roasters in Saudi Arabia in the AeroPress. We've just pressed it out. 90 seconds of brewing. And then now we've diluted it to cup strength. Sometimes I wonder if doing this, did I make, sometimes I wonder, did I make it too diluted? But it shouldn't be. It should be just right. Huh? Look at that. It always looks so interesting. So Rusty says he just had his Punch Fu Manchu earlier this afternoon with a Costa Rican coffee to stay warm. Which coffee do you have? Do you remember? It was freezing. Oh, it's cold up there. Here, it's not too bad. We're pushing late upper 40s, maybe low 50s. They say on Sunday we're going to reach the 70s. So I'm kind of oh, nice. Oh, yeah, I hope it's going to be good. And Brian's drinking some neat gin from the freezer. Oh, nice. That's how you should be drinking. From the freezer is the best way. Nice and cold. Like when you have vodka, you keep it in the freezer. Have you ever made the luge, the vodka luge? Like we used to keep so when I was a lot younger, we used to keep the Absolute or the Stolichnaya. We would put that in used milk crates, cartons, right? The half-gallon milk cartons. After you're finished with it, you just kind of like, of course, you rinse it out. You open it up, rinse it out, stick the bottle in, fill it with water, freeze the sucker so that when you're actually out partying, you just leave the bottle out and it's already got its block of ice around it. So it just takes its time. And like eventually it does all, but hopefully before that happens, you have drank the entire bottle, right? That was what we used to do. Stolichnaya and Absolute. Of course, right now, I don't think that it's quite fashionably vogue to be drinking Stolichnaya anything. But I must say, when it comes to vodka, when I was in Moscow, we were drinking this vodka called Beluga, like the sturgeon, right? Beluga, and I tell you, that was some good vodka. Like, I don't know much about vodka. I'm not a vodka person, but man, that was good. That was good. It's 22 degrees. 22, is it really 22 degrees? I have not been outside in a few hours, so I'm not really sure. Oh, this is actually tasting kind of nice. Yeah. So if you take the carton, like they still sell milk in cartons, right? Or at least an orange juice in cartons. You just gotta empty it, rinse it all out, or not. It depends on it's not gonna make a difference really because it's not penetrating the glass of the bottle. And you stick the bottle in, fill it with water, freeze. Oh, you're good to go, man. Good to go. And then like some of my other friends, they would make a luge. They would make like that. They would freeze like a block of ice, and then like they somehow figured out how to like put a channel in it so you could like shoot it. Oh, it will be later. Okay, good. Okay, good. All right, so this has some nice. I'd say it's even though the box said full body, I think it's kind of like a medium bodied. It's juicy. It's not too heavy. Like it's pleasant. It's really a pleasant kind of like lightly roasted coffee. Rusty says it's 27 here now, but when I had my cigar early, it was the low 30s. Oh yeah, that's cold, man. That's cold. That's tough. That's tough to sit outside unless you have a big fire. Speaking of big fires, bud, when are you gonna have a big fire? I've got a big tree that we need to burn. A big Christmas tree that's still sitting around. So let's have a burn session sometime soon. We need burn. All right, so let's not delay any longer. We're going to move right into our cigar talk. So as you know, tonight we're smoking the Punch Fu Manchu, which is this. So every year, Punch, I guess that's General Cigar, right? They put out a cigar in celebration of Chinese New Year, the Lunar New Year. And so we've smoked on the previous show last year. We smoked the what was it called? Not the firecracker. Well, I don't remember. No, the Kung Fu, or like, was it Nunchuck? No, that can't be right. Anyway, whatever we smoked, it was not bad. I don't remember being bad. So this time it came out, and now they have this one called the Fu Manchu. Why Fu Manchu? I still don't understand. Look. Oh, Ryan's smoking the Arturo Fuente 858 Cameroon. Nice. Oh yes, Kung Pao. That's right, because I think it came in a to-go container, right? Yeah, Kung Pao. Okay, that's right. You're right. And it was like a small Robusto. Not bad. But the nice thing about the Punch is that these price points are really good. The MSRP for this cigar is $5.99. So at Raoul's, it cost me $6.60. So not bad. You know what? Like under $7, man, that's what we got to try. And this is something that Steve was talking about before. Like, he said, why don't you review more affordable cigars? You're like, you're right. I was like, you're right. We need to do more affordable cigars. The problem is that there's not too many affordable cigars out there anymore, it seems like, right? It's always like every time a new cigar comes out, well, how much is that cigar? $15. $15? What? Oh, God, forget it. Yes, Kung Pao. What's up, George? How you doing? How's things in Virginia? Good to see you out here. The restylized Chinese care. Oh, yes, nice. This one, a little bit different. It comes in this round thingy. Let me find it here so I can share that with you. Okay, here's something interesting. I was looking for some information a little while ago, and I'm on the Punch website. Where is it? And here's the crazy thing. Punch is made by a big company, right? One of the big conglomerates, right? Why is it on their website? They don't even have it. It's not even here. Like, I get it. Like the smaller companies, they're going to be behind because who's going to keep up with it? They don't have enough staff or whatever. It costs more money because they're farming it out. But this is like a big company. Why do they not have? There's nothing about it. What is going on here? Knuckle Buster, Deluxe, Grand Cru, Nicaragua, Grand Puro, Rare Corojo Signature, Classical Maduro. And then as I was looking online, right? Like, so for example, let's say we do Fu Manchu cigar review, right? Let's try that, right? I'm going to hit this and like here, Half Wheel from February 2022, just this beginning of the month. Like there's not many reviews out there. Like it's like the big guys, Half Wheel, what they're going to have Cigar Dojo in them, Cigar Aficionado here. They just have these like press releases, right? They say, oh, we've got this and blah, 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 blah. But what? I don't know. Let's see. Oh, let's catch up on here. Oh, about to hire for George going to smoke the original Portuguese. So that was 3 years ago. Is that correct? Or 2 years ago? And I see we had a Tony moment here about a great movie. It was a great movie. I must not be seeing that. Oh, James is here. What's going on, James? How are you? Welcome tonight. Good to see you. Thanks for coming down. We're smoking the Punch Fu Manchu. And George says the STG don't really care much for the U.S. market. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, Swedes or Scandinavians are all about themselves. We get it. We know what it's all about. But anyway, so here's the press release from Half Wheel, or their note about it. And what I thought. I mean, yeah, okay. So we look at here. There's this thing called the Q or the K, the K. I don't really know. I don't speak very good Chinese. I think it's we would say Q. It's the Romanized version is spelled QUE, and it's the name of the tail that the traditional Chinese guys use. That's what they call it. It's not like, I don't know. It's not like, how would we call it? It's not a Mando mullet, And that's kind of racist. Okay, but it does have like, I'll open it up here. So again, from the tobacco leaf, but as you can see in this picture here, it comes in this round thingy, and it has this tail. And so as I was picking up, the guy Nate at Tobacco Leaf was like, "Hey man, when you smoke those, you're going to be tempted to like pull on it, like the firecrackers. They're actually kind of glued to the wrapper, so don't pull them. They're not meant to come off. They're just meant to smoke. So, I guess so you can't pull the guy's hair off his head. So I don't know. Kung Pao Enter the Fist. Oh, nice. That's the movie. Okay, I don't think I've seen that one. And then it says global STG is global but very Eurocentric. I've been to there. I think, what is it? The is it the Macanudo Club? They have some kind of club in Copenhagen that I went to 2 years ago, and really nice shop, nice lounge. Nice. They do a nice job, I think. Q is the correct. Okay, thank you, Q. Oh, it is Q. Okay, good. Is the tail supposed to impact? I don't think that it's supposed to impact taste. It's I think it's more like the firecrackers, where it's really just kind of a design feature, But what I thought was kind of like, I was looking at that, and what occurred to me as I was, looking at these images or the cigar itself was the five Chinese brothers. I don't know if you guys, we're all kind of similar of age, and so like I imagine that you guys would be familiar with this, but this is the five Chinese brothers, right? And I was drinking this when I was reading this book when I was a child. So I mean, and of course there's a lot of controversy today about how it's like stereotypically racist or whatever it is, but you know what? Regardless of that point, it's still kind of like what I grew up with. And the thing about it was that, this is what I kind of used this inspiration of the five Chinese brothers for the graphic that we use for tonight's show for the thumbnail. That's why there are five cigars, five Fu Manchus on that angle, because it's kind of my homage to this five Chinese brothers, right? Right. All right, so here we are. We have the STG Danli. So it's made in Honduras, in southwestern Honduras, closer to the Nicaraguan border, southwest of Tegucigalpa. So they say the production's limited. It's 6,400 boxes. It's 128,000 cigars. Oh, it's supposed to be a takeout soup container. Does that look like a soup container? That don't look like a soup container to me. I don't know. So Brian says if the tail doesn't impact the taste, they're missing an opportunity. That could be. Oh man, what's up, Di? Good to see you. All right, so we're gonna get into the cigar now. Let's just take it out of the cello. So it's a double wrapper, right? So there is lighter Colorado, I guess, and a darker Maduro, or I don't know. Would that be considered Maduro? It's got a nice light spiciness, a little bit sweetness. Let me get some so bicolor. Sweet. Spice. Yes, I agree. It does look more like an ice cream container. The old paper ones. No, I don't. I still use them for like those paper ones. We used them up until like last year. So, yeah, I get it. We're just kind of extrapolating it, but it's all right. It's all right for them to make their own thing. I'm all right with that. So, yeah, actually, you can see it right here. Like, I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to try to hold it up here, but if you look, maybe too close. Let's see. I'm going to turn. Oh, see that right there. You can see the kind of glossiness on the wrapper next to the bottom of the Q, and that is the glue that's holding it in place. So yeah, it's not meant to be removed. I guess I could remove it if I want, but you can see it even more up here at the top by the foot, by the cap. By the cap. See that little bit of coloration right there? I get it to reflect. All right, let's just cut it. Let's just get into it now. That was not a very good cut. I don't even know that cut through the cap. Oh, it did. Okay, good. So Rusty's asking, does the tail represent the Fu Manchu style? No, I think it's supposed to represent the hair, the Q, the hair, that like long, Mandarin mullet kind of thing that happened, that they wear, the old school. Of course, Fu Manchu, you do think about the long, like, handlebar mustache. You don't really think about that. I mean, maybe they should have called it the five Chinese brothers, made them in 5-packs. Gosh, STG, you should be calling me to like help you out with that. You probably have a bunch of Scandinavian guys making stuff about Asian people. All right, so there it's cut now. So Mark's asking, what is the tail made of? So the judging by the looks of it, and typically in this kind of thing, the tailors are made from tobacco. Looks like they created this, they rolled this tail and then placed it on the end as they put the cap on. That's a good question. I wonder. So if we look really closely here, right, you can kind of see this really black piece of like right there, that little like kind of like rectangle. I believe that is the actual leaf. So it's just kind of glued up there. And Di says it was a few minutes behind, but got synced up. Okay, great, great. And George says he agrees with Brian that the tail, if attached, should be designed to affect taste. The glue looks excessive. Well, I mean, I guess it could be excessive, but I'm also, looking at it in person, like for me personally, I'm not surprised. I mean, it is a pretty thin piece of tobacco. Like it seems that it would be difficult to use that vegetable glue and glue it down without some movement that would rub. So, I mean, it's a $6 cigar. It's not Davidoff. You guys are so like Davidoff style here. And then Brian says if a toning glue job would have multiple screws to, yes, we would definitely have multiple screws every 2 millimeters along the path. No, I'm not criticizing the multi-tool. I'm just saying that it's my poor job. And then George says Fu Manchu is now considered extremely racist. Well, but they're Scandinavian. It's very white there. Like if you go to Denmark, you're like, whoa, everybody's white and blonde. Like there's a lot of blonde. Like it's one of the few places where I've gone that's like, whoa, there's a lot of blondes. Even like you're walking around Copenhagen, you're like, okay, I'm going out to Copenhagen. I'm going to check out. It's kind of chilly. Even though it's the middle of August, it's a little bit chilly. I'm walking, and everybody's blonde. Blonde kids, blonde parents, blonde teenagers, blonde. It's like, whoa, it's like, this is like blonde. If you like blondes, man, you need to go to Scandinavia. There's blondes everywhere. It's pretty amazing. Like you'd think you'd see that in Croatia, but it's not like that in Croatia. But Denmark, oh yeah, lots of blondes. So Rusty says this would be the day Xikar. They'll never tune in. They don't like us here. And, so George says it also appears that he was chosen a strip of wrapper leaf that included the vein to give it. Oh, that could be. Like it does have a bit of, rigidity. Let's put. I pulled it off a little bit. Let's see here. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Look at that. Oh, it's pretty tough. What if we were to see how? All right, let's try this before we begin our official smoking of the cigar. What's up, Young Ma? How are you, man? Good to see you. How are things in New York? And even Brian's in the house here, man. Good to see you. Oh yeah, Brian's right. We need to leave Xikar alone. We need the spot. We do need a sponsor. So Xikar, please sponsor us with a camera. So we're gonna light this up here, right? This little nub, and see what happens. It's got nice aromatics. Oh, it's still burning. Maybe this is cigarette tobacco. Actually, it's got nice aromatics. That's not working. All right, we're going to go now. We're going to light the cigar. We're going to go for the lighting of the cigar with our tobacco leaf matches. As much as I love long matches, these are a little bit on the thin side. Like a lot of times they'll break. See, like that. What is going on here, man? But I don't want to waste. I don't want to waste. All right, here we go. Oh, I didn't talk about the cold draw. Good draw, easy, good resistance. A little bit of sweetness. Oh, the one match light, not bad. It's going good, my man. Going good. How are you doing out there, man? We are here doing the the Fu Manchu from Punch. Tony says, either way, it's impressive rolling feed. Yeah, I mean, it's nicely done. Like, it's a nice looking cigar overall. Like, really, I kind of want to rip off the band so I can see how the joint is between the two wrappers. But I figure we'll get to that in time. I know. But we're here for science. We're here for cigar science. So and I only took off this bottom part. Like, it's not going to be too bad. George says, hold the match closer to the head when you strike it. Oh, yeah. But it might burn me. But I have to say, I have to give some straight criticism, and these are a bit on the thin side, right? Like, I think they're super cool, and actually they really strike really, really easy. Like, these are like super like oh, look at that. That was like super easy to light. But they are sadly on the thin side. Like, if we compare them to the Davidoff, which maybe should be the benchmark of all. Like, if we look at these, look at that. You can see the thickness difference, right? But of course, these are expensive. These are expensive matches. So no complaints, just observations, I'm certainly not going to turn down a long match. Absolutely not. Is it your new lighting, or is that the wrapper really nice? No, it really is a nice reddish Colorado shade. Like, the lighting is the same as it's always been here. So it's really just the shade here. I mean, it's nicely done. The wrapper, like, how sometimes you touch wrappers and they're kind of this silky, smooth. This is not silky. Like, it doesn't have those oils on the surface. It's a drier wrapper than other cigars we've tried, but it's nice. It's still a nice. And Jim says, "Oh, like cigar." Yeah, see people like Jim knows. And George says, thinner matches burn hotter. Oh, I didn't know that. So starting off nice, a little bit spicy, good flavor. Like, it's interesting. It's an interesting beginning. So let's see, what do they say here? The senior brand manager of Punch, Ed Lumen, says Punch is keeping its Chinese New Year tradition alive. For the 2022 release, they went old school, replicating here's something. Okay, I saw this earlier. Replicating a maniacal kung fu master's white hair and long goatee with a blonde cap and extended pigtail. All right, why is a kung fu master maniacal? And if he is white hair, why not make this white? That would be really something. Like, if you could make this like tail white to match the master, that would be interesting. It's just like when I was, years ago, we were making, my friend wanted to make ice cream, and I always like ice cream. And so one of my goals with like, well, let's do a coffee ice cream. Okay, good. We'll do a coffee ice cream. But you know what? I hate coffee ice cream. Absolutely hate it. Hate it. Because it's just rubbish, right? Coffee ice cream is bitter and like sweet, and there's nothing fun about it. It's just it's boring, right? So what I wanted to do is, like, because I deal with a lot of like beautiful coffees that are all about single origin and like different characteristics so that when you're drinking them, there's definitely very distinct characteristics. It's kind of like, between this and like, I don't know, the LCA, there's distinct differences between the two. That's what I wanted to explore. Is like, can we make ice creams, coffee ice creams that are true to its origin and that you can easily differentiate between the two? Like if one came from this farm and this other one came from this farm, you could tell. But on top of that, I wanted to make it even harder. And this is my correlation to this white hair is like, I hate coffee's color, like this brown. As an ingredient in food, this coffee just pisses me off. Like it's this color that's just so like brown and boring. And if you mix coffee into anything, it just becomes brown. Good Lord, man, that's just terrible, at least from my perspective. And so I wanted to make ice cream, coffee ice cream, that would not be brown. The goal was, how can we get the flavor from the bean into the ice cream without the brown? I worked on that for like over a year. Anyway, oh, that's okay. So George says, yeah, it appears, yes, your appearance is, what looks apparent to you is absolutely correct. It is completely different, a complete different shade, more of Colorado and more of this, maybe Maduro. So, I mean, it's quite interesting, I think. I know. My gosh, that's amazing. Welcome all. Let me know what you're smoking and drinking. Put them in the comments down below. If you have any questions about coffee, cigars, comments you want to comment, talk about your favorite cigars, your worst cigars, whatever you want to talk about. Tell me that I'm foolish. That's fine too. Let me know. Young Ma likes the Haagen-Dazs coffee. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of any coffee ice cream. Not a fan. And that's because when I grew up, when I was young, I didn't grow up liking coffee. I hated it completely. I only learned to like it after like getting into the business. And so like for me, it was always this bitter, like nastiness. So like even when I go get ice cream now, it's always vanilla, maybe chocolate. Every blue moon, I'll get strawberry. And then if I'm really splurging, then it's like Oreo. And then if I'm lucky and I go to if I'm lucky enough to go to a Baskin Robbins, which I don't really go to, but if I happen to go during the winter, during football season, and they have the quarterback crunch, then I have lucked out, because that's my childhood favorite. Quarterback crunch from Baskin Robbins, that's the deal, man. Little like chocolate covered Rice Krispies with swirls of caramel in vanilla ice cream. Oh, dude. Actually, I went to buy this chocolate milkshake one night. I went there and they're like, oh, they have quarterback crunch. I was like, I should have bought the quarterback crunch. That was a waste of my time. And Tony says that it's a Connecticut on top, Habano on the bottom, with the final cap being Habano or possibly Maduro. The cap was, yeah, it's definitely more of a. So here's the cap. I'll let you decide whether or not it is. I think it's darker, like at least based on. There's the cap. So it's a little bit darker. So yeah, there we go. Oh no, I don't. I never touched on the different wrappers. Hadn't got to that point. So you did not miss it. I'm the one that missed it. Brian says he doesn't turn down ice cream. Smart. That's a smart thing. I don't either. Who am I joking? If you were like, hey man, here's some like really, really bad like coffee ice cream, am I really going to say no? I don't have the figure of someone that says no. I always say yes. You must seize the day, right? Seize the day. George says, I also missed the opportunity since the Connecticut shade will have a weaker mouth flavor. I wonder if that's an intentional thing, though. George says tiramisu is a different story. Oh, tiramisu. I'm all about that. Tiramisu is good. They say tiramisu was started in Baltimore at that place downtown in Little Italy. I met the owners there years and years ago. Oh, what was the name? I think Di and I went there one time. It's been a long time. They actually closed a number of years ago, unfortunately. Tony says Green's Java chip chocolate chip is pretty tasty. Is that the one that Green's is the one by your house? Is that correct? George says, wait, what about the ice cream at La Chispa? Yeah, it was crazy. But here's the thing. Like, I don't. We never really talked about this. I don't think. But so after we went to Rusty, after we were in September, after we came back from New Jersey, George and I swung by a place called La Chispa in Delaware because I had come across it. La Chispa makes these crazy. Let me see if I can find it here. They make these absolutely insane, like treats. Some of them are shakes. Like, look at this thing. Look at this. Look at that. Look. Can you see that? Look how big and so these are like shakes. Oh, this is like a sundae with churro. And they've got these crazy toppings. This is like strawberries with fruity pebbles and looks like Pop-Tart right here with Rice Krispie treats, and this kind of like a s'mores thing. It was really, I saw it and I was like, oh my God, we need to go and try this thing, right? So we went down there. But honestly, I have to be honest, the problem for me, look at this one, look at this craziness. Look at this, it's bubble gum. It's a bubble gum thing. Oh, cotton candy milkshake. Look at this one. I think I had the churro. So it's really, really amazing looking stuff, right? But to be honest with you, for me personally, the ice cream was good. Like the actual ice cream in the cup was good. But everything else was like overproduced. To me, it was overproduced. Like all this stuff. And it wasn't really like super like awesome, like quality wise. It was just good. And so I was kind of like, well, would I make the drive out of my way again to go? No, I hate to say it. Greens. Oh yeah, I think that is somebody's house, right? Oh, commercial ice cream brand. Oh, I'm not familiar with Greens. Let's look it up here. Greens ice cream. Here we are. Oh, I've not heard of Greens. So you said the parlor flavors? Maybe it's parlor flavors? No, chocolate. Coffee chip. Nice. Oh yes, absolutely. La Chispa is a paradiso para los gordos. Yeah, young man, it's craziness there, craziness. Ice cream on the 100th. We should do that. That would be kind of fun. Oh, remember, in 10 days, Rusty's going to be down here. I presume you're coming, right, Rusty, for his wife's performance at the church on Charles Street. So some great opera coming up in the March 13th. Okay, we need to go back to our cigar because we haven't really talked about the cigar. So the cigar, we're kind of rolling through the first third, and actually it's been quite enjoyable. Like a good amount of spice, a little bit of sweetness, good complexity, medium to full-ish body so far. I'm digging it. Rusty wants to know, is it Green's a local brand? Let's see. Oh, yeah, I guess it is. Here, it says here, right here. So back in 1913, it started in York, Pennsylvania. Green's ice cream is much larger than York County. So yeah, it's mostly a York County kind of thing. Brian says, Tony and I came across a store that sold popsicles, many flavors you could have plain, dipped, or dipped, and rolled. Oh, interesting. And Steve says, we've got the soda jerk in Scottsdale. Oh, let's look at it. The milkshake bar. Oh, you got me at milkshake bar. I love milkshakes. Oh, they have one in North Phoenix now. You don't have to go to Scottsdale anymore. Nice. Valentine shakes, $12. You know, when it comes to shakes, right? Like, so I used to go when I lived in Honolulu. I actually used to go to this one drive-in where they would make the Ono shake, and Ono O-N-O actually means delicious in Hawaiian, so that's what it means. And so it's the delicious shake. And what it was, a milkshake, chocolate milkshake with peanut butter. I loved that thing. Loved it. So like this peanut gallery, chocolate peanut butter milkshake. Love it. Love it. The thing is that when it comes to shakes, I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, I want the shake to be thick. Like whenever I get a shake and it's all like liquid, like all like, easy to slurp, I don't like that. I want it to be thicker. Like that's just too much milk. It's like, come on, man. Too much milk. Give me thickness, right? So like if I go to the local Baskin and Robbins, which is at the Dunkin' Donuts up the road, the guys there, it's shocking. Like you pay this like what, $7 or something for this shake, and it's like, we're used to scoops, right? Like I'll go buy a scoop of ice cream, right? Just a scoop. But then they use the spade to like hack out like multiple like sheets of like ice cream. Like, oh my God, man, that's too much. Like I shouldn't be eating that. I don't stop by any means. I don't stop, but I should. I don't know if Green is in New York City. I think it's a little bit. Oh, so you're coming down too? Okay, good. With your wife. Okay, good. So George says it seems like a quick burn rate, and so here's the thing. So since it's me smoking the cigar, I tend to have like I've said this in the past, I tend to have a tendency to smoke faster when I'm enjoying a cigar. Like, yeah, we're only about half an hour-ish into the cigar. And look at the way that it's burning, right? It's kind of got this slant to it. So I think I'm going pretty hard on it. I should probably slow down. I stopped in a small town in New Mexico that had a soda jerk. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Soda jerk seemed cool to me. I went to one place that had a soda jerk bar in it, like an old like pharmacy. I thought that was pretty cool. George says that milkshake should be started with a spoon. Yes, I agree. You know who does a surprisingly decent shake is what's their name? The chicken place, Chick-fil-A. They do a pretty good shake. Actually, I've had the shakes so I've gotten the shake, right? And I didn't eat it. So I put it in the freezer. A couple days later, it's a little bit more frozen. Oh yeah, you can't drink it, but you scoop it out. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. And the straw comes later. Yes, absolutely. I like that. When I was at Shake Shack last week, I did not try their shakes. I don't know if we talked about this, but I went to no, I guess we didn't, because I think I went there after the show. I'm going to drop this down because, as you can see, it's kind of like got this downturn to it, but I'm kind of worried that it's going to fall off. So I'm just going to tap it out. Just tapped it out. There we go. Just tapped it out. I got to say, it's smoking very enjoyably. I'm very much enjoying it. But I was terribly, actually, I wasn't terribly disappointed. Like, that would be a misnomer. I've been to Shake Shack like 3 times. And I remember when when Danny Meyer first opened the one in Union Square, and I was always excited to go try it out because it sounded cool. He grew up in St. Louis, so he based it off his favorite place there, a place called Ted Drew's. That's a custard joint. So in the Midwest, they don't really have, well, they have ice cream, but the big thing there is what they call custard. And custard, the difference between custard and ice cream is that custard has 20% milk fat or greater. So it's a super thick. So when you see it come out of a proper custard machine, it's like this big, long, like when you're taking a dump and it just doesn't break, it looks like that. It's just coming out this long, but it's super thick and it can be very, very good. Like there's some really classics like Leon's, Cops, they're all like classics up in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, that are fantastic. But Ted Drew's is one of the big ones in St. Louis. And so he designed Shake Shack to be very similar to that. But, I went to Shake Shack before. I've always been underwhelmed, to be honest with you. Like, it's just like, it's no big deal. It's just there's no reason. Like I was hungry last week. So I was in Columbia and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to, where should I eat? So I'm looking on my phone. I'm by the mall. I couldn't really figure out what to get. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go try to Shake Shack again. And so I went, and I kind of wasn't expecting anything. I wasn't expecting to be wowed, and I wasn't. You've got this thing, and I think you're spending $13, $14 for a single burger, like a thin, like McDonald's like level burger. Like, I mean, when I say McDonald's, it's not the same execution as McDonald's. But it's as thin as a McDonald's cheeseburger. Like, it's thin. The bun's really soft and really nice. The meat is nice quality, but it's really thin. And like it's got American cheese and it's got, onions or whatever it is. And it's just, or lettuce, tomato, and it's nice. But is it like an $8 burger? I just didn't see it. And then you add the fries and you add the drink. And then it's just the drink. Like you go to most places, you get a free refill. And so I'm spending $14 when I probably would have been just as equally satisfied if I had the $6 medium fry, small Coke, or large, actually same size, same price for the Coke, medium fry, large Coke, and a cheeseburger for $6.50 at Burger King. I mean, at McDonald's. So I really would like to like it more. I just, I was kind of like one of those things where like I could have, if I was in Towson, considering like Shake Shack, there's a Burger Brothers, and Burger Brothers for like say about the same amount of money, you get a bigger burger, flame grilled, really nice ingredients, stacked really high, with like actual fresh cut French fries and unlimited soda or iced tea. What I get. So, I mean, the value is much, the value equation, I think, is better. So Jim says, greens is good stuff. La Chispa means the spark. Okay. Not the fat guy. The spark that attracts the fat guys. Never heard of greens until I moved to, what part of Maryland do you live? Down in the city? I live in Maryland. I never even heard of greens till just today. I was this years old when I heard about greens. Actually, one of my favorite, speaking of favorite ice creams, like one of my favorite ice cream brands, you can't even get it here, and actually the last time I had it was actually at Rusty's mom's house. And so it's been a number of years, maybe like 5-6 years since I was at their farm, their family farm. So I'm at their family farm and we're all hanging out. It's like, oh, let's go get some ice cream. So I went over to the store and they have this brand of ice cream there called Rosalani. Yeah, I'll pull it up here for you guys to see. Rosalani, it's from Maui, but we're on the beach. Of course, the farm's on the Big Island. But man, to me, their ice cream is delicious. Like I was totally like, oh my gosh, how did I not have this before? Well, I never had it because it's from Maui, and when I lived there, they weren't shipping it to Oahu, or at least not that I knew of. But this is good stuff. So if you ever go to Hawaii, look for Rosalani ice cream. I mean, they've got some really interesting flavors. What did we have? Ube, that's a popular one now. I would like to have the Haupia ice cream. That's what I would like to have. Okay, I can't look at this anymore. That's craziness. Isn't there one in Fed Hill? You mean the greens? I'm not sure. There is a my friend David has a shop in Federal Hill for his ice cream company called the Charmery. So they do have that. I'm not sure if that's. And George says, I wasn't saying you're smoking too fast, just as burning a bit quick. The draw is very good. Draw's very good. And I know I didn't think you were saying that I was smoking. It was burning. I knew what you're saying. But I think that it's burning fast because I think I'm smoking too fast. Like I said, when I'm enjoying a cigar, I tend to like smoke it harder, which tends to lead to like jiggy jaggy, kind of like you see jiggy jaggy, right? Jiggy jaggy. So Madison Square. Oh, okay. Cops. You know the first time I went to Cops, right? I go to Cops. So I was there. It was like 2003, I think it was. So we're there with I'm touring around because I was all interested in doing custard here in Baltimore. And the machines that you have to use are very specific and they're very kind of expensive. But I was thinking, what if we did that here? But I wanted to learn and like understand what custard was and like because if you sit here in Baltimore and you're like, okay, custard, okay, great, custard. What does that mean? So you have to go there to experience it so you understand what the real deal is about. So I went there. And I toured around Leon's, went to Leon's. I thought Leon's was cool, looked like Arnold's drive-in, from Happy Days. And then finally went to Cops. Pretty cool. Like it's all like super like big glass and all of this like landscaping and stainless steel everything. Like it's pretty slick. But it was the day that I was leaving. So I was flying back taking a night flight back to Baltimore. My last stop was at Cops before heading to the airport. So I'm like, I'm going to buy a burger. Oh my God. Their burgers are massive there. It's ridiculous. It's craziness. Like I was really stuffed because here we are nearly 20 years later. And I still remember how stuffed I was from this burger and fries. It was super like massive. And I was like, this is ridiculous. This is craziness. So I don't know. No, they're taking. Yeah. When you see the custard, the chocolate custard coming out, you're like, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, It doesn't. It's not like it's turning me off that I'm not going to try it. I'm like, well, it's chocolate. I'm gonna eat it. George says, Coors Brother and OC, amazing frozen custard. Ah, yes, I've had that. That's nice. But when you go to those are pretty thick, right? The ones at Coors. But when you get like the stuff in Wisconsin, man, it's like, I mean, you could. You know how they do that thing where they show you turning upside down and all that kind of stuff? It's like that. It's super, super thick. George says, no chance. Shack burger start on $6. Oh, yeah. $14. It's $6 for the it was let me look it up here. I was so like I was actually rather irritated, to be honest with you. But I was like, okay, so I actually posted about it on my Instagram. I really hate how the pictures on your iPhone, like as you're touching it, the longer you touch it, it pulls up the sub menu. That just irritates me. Actually, I'm just gonna look at my Instagram and I'll show you. Oh, I can just look it up here and show you Instagram. So good draw, really nice flavor. All right, here we go. This is my meal from Shake Shack. So I had the basic, the burger, the fries. Like it's nicely done. It's kind of like that pressed burger, the smash type of thing with the cheesy and the stuff. The bun, soft. It wasn't toasted, but soft. The fries were crisp. There's the interior. A little bit of mayo right there. The fries a little bit up close. There, $13. $13.11. So $6 for the burger, $3 for the fries, $3 for the Coke, $3 for a Coke. I mean, the Coke costs 5 cents, maybe 35 cents for the maybe 50 cents for the, let's say 75 cents for the straw and the cup and the lid. But he's also buying them by the millions, so it's not costing that much. Uh-oh. For a moment, I thought that was going to go out. So $13. So, I think that's a lot. Like, if for $13, I would like to be really like blown away. Shake Shack probably, I don't think so. Like, here's the thing. So, like, if we look at this, right? Whoops. Like, these fries, they're kind of like frozen. Where you go to Five Guys, they're actually like cutting the fries, and the burgers are bigger. I wish I had a comparison to show you, but it's a different experience, What I don't like about Five Guys is the griddled burgers. Like, I do like the flame grilled burgers that they have at Burger Brothers better. I think it has that nice like charcoaly taste. Brian says he doesn't eat burgers at a place called Shake Shack. I order Shake. But what I miss? I miss going to places and eating, like for lunch. Like, usually I really went there because, like, I would have gone to my halal guy that's out there. And there's this guy that I go to in Ellicott City that is he's got this shack, this food truck in the middle, in front of this gas station. And it's really super rustic. And let me see if I can find it. Here, I'll show you. He does this gyro. They call it gyros. Sorry, gyros. Okay, they're very specific. And this is really darn good. Like, this is a chicken gyro. Actually, I'm so like used to saying gyro now. It's like it actually feels weird to say gyro. But anyway, gyro. Just delicious overall. But you got to sit in your car or sit inside or outside. There's no place to sit. And what I really was looking for was a place that I could sit down and read. Like, I like to read. That's really when I get to read, is like to have a meal and sit down and read. I enjoy that. I enjoy that very much. Uh-oh. See? Too much talking. It did go out. It went out. I can't believe it. Oh, Shake Shack better than Five Guys. We said that already. Better fries and better cheese at the Shack. But can you really have better American cheese? I don't know if there's a better American. Unless you go to Velveeta. Like, I think American cheese are all pretty much the same. Which is why when I buy American cheese, I don't really look at the brand. I'm like, it's all pretty good. Actually, I think when it comes to American cheese, I think I want the cheaper quality. The cheaper quality is the better experience, because it's more like, when I was young and like when you're like just had that stuff and it was either like in the slices or in the can that you're squeezing it out. And I didn't like the cheddar in the can as much as I like the American in the can, the pasteurized, like, pressurized cheese. But you know what? I always go with these kind of foods. I always go back to like my youth, like when we were young and like eating the cheapest stuff. Checkers is the best burger for the buck. Oh, Checkers. I haven't been there very much. George says, yes, it's much better than Five Guys. Give me the shake, leave me the shack. Nice. And I wants to know, have you ever had chicken from Hip? Who's had chicken from Hip Hop? I've had it a couple times. And Hip Hop is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's interesting. Like, they sprinkle this mixture of really finely ground black pepper and salt over everything. Like, once it's all fried, then they do this whole like. So it's not bad. It's not bad, but it's, they also sell fried fish. And I think they sometimes will use the same fryers for both. So you could have those kind of interruptions. And George says, speaking of exotic destinations to have an ice cream, Copelia in La Habana is legend. Oh, Oh, interesting. There's a Copelia, and I'm not familiar with that. In Manawa. Oh, Copelia, Manawa. Let's see what they got here. Habana Times. Hollow Scoops. Oh, interesting. I can't help but to wonder, like, is the hollow scoop in the communist country because they're trying to, like, extend the rations that they get? But actually, interesting enough, there is when it comes to like Cuban types of ice cream, there is a place in Mexico City. So there's a place in Mexico City called I think it's called the Mercado Medellin. So I think that is called. It's in the Roman neighborhood. But inside there's this guy from Cuba that has his Cuban ice cream. He makes his own ice cream there. Really, really wonderful stuff. So you ever get to Mexico City, you want to try some good ice cream, that's a place that's good to go. Tony says he's had the hip hop chicken and wasn't impressed. I mean, it's a chicken designed for the masses. Rusty says the burn on my first stir was even consistent as it progressed. That it did. Oh, interesting. So it also got a little bit like uneven, and then did yours die out? Because mine just died out, and I don't think that I was talking for that long. Oh, Jim lives down in Annapolis. Oh, nice, nice. The double shack burger, but the double shack burger adds like another $1 or $2. That's the problem, and that's actually why I went with a single, because it's like. But also, I went with a single because if I go to Five Guys, right, I only get the single because, man, I'm adding like everything. Like I want to have, the bacon, lettuce, tomato, mushrooms, peppers, jalapenos, onions. Like I'm making like a salad on that sucker. So I mean, for me, I only get the one. Like I took my nephew there, and he was like, just like 2 years ago. My nephew was 8 at the time, and he's like, "Well," I said, "What do you want?" He's like, "I want a burger." Okay, good. What do you want? Just order whatever you want. He had the double burger. Man, with the regular single burger at Five Guys and the fries, and that's enough for me. That's plenty. Like that's plenty. Tony says, "Well, that would have been worth it if you got in touch to touch Thor's hammer." Oh. No way, man. He's pricing that way so you're kind of like, oh, it's better for me to buy the shake, and he can charge you whatever he charges for the shake. Yeah. Five Guys fries. I mean, their fries are solid there. I didn't see them cutting the fries there, and I did look because I wanted to like know for sure, and I don't see them cutting fries in there. Plus, I don't know if people are really going to take time to cut fries crinkle cut. I mean, they have the cutters, no doubt, but. Oh, your mom's watching. Is she visiting? Tell your mom I said hello. And tell her thank you. Sit down and read, eat slowly, then have a. Oh, I like the idea of having a cigar, but it's so difficult to have a cigar somewhere. I would love that. Burgers at the drugstore counter. Are there still places like that? I would like to find that. Let us know. Oh, the guy in the DF uses the Copelia recipe. Oh, okay, good. That is good stuff. So if his stuff is accurate to Copelia, then that's really good ice cream. I've been there like a number of times. I go there almost as much as the taco place that I like. Clark Burger makes a good burger. Clark Burger, I've had their burgers once. That was pretty good. And then George says, drag it through the garden, like they drag it through absolutely. Although, I can't, I'm not a big hot dog guy though, with all that. And then the Chicago dog, I know that Chicago people are probably going to hunt me down, but I'm just saying. I have been to that guy in Chicago who now moved to, I heard he moved to Honolulu. The guy that runs that place called Hot Dogs. I went there years and years ago. When he was like really becoming popular. I happened to be in Chicago for a trip, and I was like, I want to go check out this hot dog place. And it was really pretty good, pretty enjoyable. But typically, if I'm choosing hot dogs, I'm not really going to. I don't normally choose hot dogs to eat. It's rare for me to get a hot dog. What I really like though with hot dogs is whether I buy it on the street or make it at home. I'm a little more specific. I like the Sabrett hot dogs from New York because there's something about the casing that Sabrett uses that when you cook it a certain way, it gets this really lovely snap, this like crunchy snap to it. And so if I'm in New York City and I'm hungry for a hot dog, I'll try to find the halal guy that sells hot dogs also, because he normally has the grill, and I'll ask him to finish the hot dog on the charcoal. I love that. I really love that. It's like when I have the Baronwurst from Binkert's. Like when you actually cook that over a flame for a while, it gets that really crispy snap to the casing. Oh man, that to me is where it's beautiful. Rusty says, my cigars made it to the last third before I had to relight. Yeah, I had to relight. I did the serial motion, and it's okay now. It's good. It's okay. Yes, hot dogs. Good place. I heard he moved to Honolulu now, in the Kaka'ako neighborhood. Papaya King. Oh, man, Papaya King. There used to be a Papaya King not too far from my dorm when I went to NYU. No, it was Gray's Papaya, not Papaya King. Gray's Papaya. It was, what is the avenue? Through the village, there's that village cigar shop. That's 6th Avenue, right? It was right, because 6th Avenue heads north. So 6th Avenue, maybe like 10th Street or something. There was a Gray's. I used to go to that one. I like that one. Dice says he forgot, but he has always been a fan of Cooper's Burgers. The one in Fells Point was always better than the other locations of the truck. Been years since had one. Yeah, the ones that we had, because Di used to work down in Hamden, and so we used to get together on Fridays when the truck came to the neighborhood. You know, I always went along, and it was pretty good. But yeah, I think you're right, Di. It was always a little bit drier. The meat was never as juicy on the truck as it was at their location downtown. Tony says, none of these places beats the Wagyu ground sirloin and brisket trimming burgers that I made on Monday. Well, no one could try that. Photos or it didn't happen. George says, Graves Papaya were frauds. Yeah, 6th Avenue, exactly. I enjoyed playing Graves, but you know what? I was 18 at the time. What do I know about it? I didn't know anything about it. I have not been to, where's the Papaya King? The next time I go to New York, I'll give it a try. I always thought the Graves was the original. But Graves, I hear, has been gone for what, at least 6-7 years, right? All right, I'm going to tap this out because I just don't want to risk it. All right, so I should be grading the first third because we're almost finished the second third. I'm giving it 8.25s in flavor and body. Oh, we can do that. We can certainly do that. Grilling some dogs. So do you have a favorite dog, George? Like, what do you guys think about hot dogs? Do you have a favorite brand? Mine is, like, as you know, mine is the Sabrett. I have there's no place really to buy it here. Or there is a place. I think I can get it at Restaurant Depot if I buy it by the 40 pack. And I've done that before but then the problem with a 40 pack is that you want to so then I would have to individually freeze them. So I'd have to get a baking sheet lay them all out on parchment, put them in the freezer, freeze them up, and then bag them. Because if you bag them all together and freeze them all together, that's just misery. George says, no way, Papaya King is the original and still the best. All right, I'm gonna go try it. I'm gonna go try it. Rosita Farms hot dogs are pretty good. I tried those as well. Oh, all right. I've gotten the Frankfurters from Binkert's. I'm not really either way on those. For me at Binkert's, the Baronwurst, the country sausage, I like that. That's what I want to buy. Brian says, Frito pie at Woolworths in Santa Fe. Miss it. You know, it's interesting. Like, Brian, I've known Brian now for like 20 years. And Brian would tell me stories about these Frito pies. And I was like, what? Frito pies? And he would tell me about how he would have Frito pies at 7-Eleven. So you take the bag of Fritos, you break it open over the long seam, right? The up and down seam. And then you go to the nacho cheese and you go to the chili and you pump all that in and you eat it. And to me, with a fork. And to me, that sounds fantastic. Fantastic. That's amazing. So in 2008, I decided I was going to go to Albuquerque and because, well, the cover story was to go visit the Trinity site where they detonated the atomic bomb, as well as to go check out the balloon fiesta where all these balloons are flying. Okay, that's the cover story. The reality was I wanted to try this Frito pie. So at Balloon Fiesta, I'm there and it's like, there's a Frito pie vendor. I was like, oh, Frito pie. I'll order that. So they gave me the styrofoam container, the takeout container. So Fritos, nice chili, like, chili with beans and all that. Nice shredded cheese, cheddar cheese. Lettuce, shredded lettuce, and chopped tomato. Nice. I mean, good. But I have to be honest, I was disappointed because all I had in my mind was that cheap nacho cheese and terrible chili on Fritos. That just sounds tasty to me. I'm like, oh, that's what I wanted to have. So I don't know. Oh, for sure. The 40-pack does make sense. I'm just talking about like my own consumption. Like me, I like the idea of having the separate around. Oh, it should be equally epic. Oh, George will make sure. Excellent. Oh, yes. It's. I don't know here though. Like I've never tried it here in or at least in Baltimore. Like to go to the 7-Eleven and like break open a bag of Fritos and start filling it with the nacho cheese. I don't know if they get mad. Like I don't know how they would charge us. Like, I mean, in Albuquerque, that's indigenous to the area. So George says hot balloon fiesta is a trip, but you need to be doing. I did not have the chance to try the peyote, and that guy can burn for it's terrible. It's terrible. But it's one of those I think it was an elevated Frito pie. For sophisticated people. So how's our cigar doing? So before the relight, I think it was pretty consistent with the first third. But since the relight, it's the performance is diminished, and so it happened about halfway through the second third. So that unfortunately will have an impact on the scoring because the performance did change. The performance has changed. Rusty says maybe I should have done only my chili Frito pie style. That would have been something. Actually, that's what I was doing at Widmer's. I was taking when I was eating people's, like after I tasted, so I tasted everyone's chili just to get it straight. And then the ones that I enjoyed, I was like, okay, I'm going to take these tortilla chips. I'm going to break them up and then I'm going to eat. Oh yeah, that was good. That was fun. George says there's a joint in Austin that does high-end Frito pies. High-end Frito pie, Austin. Let's have a look. Eater at Austin says where to dig into Austin's best Frito pies. Okay, what is that? That looks interesting. Style switch with their hot dogs. I don't know about the shredded cheese. I want the more melty cheese. They should put that under the salamander so it gets all like melty. Texas chili parlor. Oh, that looks solid right there. That looks solid. Not too fancy, just like, but nice and chunky meat. Look at that chunky meat. Brian, what do you say, Brian? What's Brian say about this? Here we are, more of this, more brisket. Ooh, Frank looks kind of classic. Lambert's. That looks kind of anemic. Lots of fritos, but what about the topping? That's classic. Look at that. This guy just like broke the bag open. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Oh, here another Brago. Oh, this guy sliced it down the side. That's fancy. That's a Yellow Jacket Social. Oh, I need to go to Austin and try these things. That looks too fancy. Cilantro and like all the looks salsa. No. That's too much. That's too much. Curlin Barbecue has pulled pork. Or is that brisket? La Barbecue. Oh, look at this. Like a torta. La Frita Loco. Japanese Texas Izakaya's chili cheese takoyaki. Oh, interesting. I don't know about this. What is this? What is this? What is this? That's not enough. That's not enough. Who says that's enough? You need to have more chips, more fritos. Spicy beef chili and cilantro chutney. What? I don't know about that. All right, well, that's interesting. Interesting. Supposedly pretty damn good. Brian says Woolworths make the frito pie and bag. Which, how about that? Are they still there? Woolworths. Frito pie. Albu turkey. Oh, there it is. There it is. That looks like it's it. Fabulous frito pie, a fan favorite. Here we are, 5 and Dime Santa Fe. Santa Fe. What is that? Oh, that's not frito pie. Paella from La Boca. Okay, we don't need that. Oh, there's paella. Oh, okay, that was not too much. George says it's called the Texas Chili Parlor. Okay, let's see. Texas. The Texaness. What's so special about the Texas Chili Parlor? A lot of verbiage. No images. Where's the images? What the? All right, this Texas Monthly is for like people that want to pretend they're intelligent. Never mind. That's disappointing. How about Southern Living? Southern Living's good. Those people are gonna have pictures. There we go. Chili. Okay, looks good. Looks nice and solid. Oh, there it is. The frito pie. Close that. All right, that's pretty respectable looking. Oh, good Lord. Go away. George says, approved for carrot when you're heading out to Willie's. Ah, nice. Next time you go to a nice restaurant, just bring. That was a good joint, but ain't no doing frito pie. Exactly. Bag of Fritos, Hormel chili. No, the Hormel chili. I don't know about that, man. I had Hormel chili recently, like within the last 6 months. Man, that was not a happy experience. Actually, maybe I had it because I wanted to have frito pie. Or what it was, maybe it was a year ago. I had the urge for chili with the cornbread inside, so I didn't really want to make the chili myself. So I was like, I'm just going to buy the Hormel, and that was not a happy time. I made the cornbread. I should have made the chili. It was not a happy time. There's something with that hormel that as you're eating, it's got that gloopiness to it that's just like, ugh. And it doesn't sit well. It doesn't sit. Two fat fingers. Oh, yeah. The Santa Fe version has red chili and chili, if that makes sense. Oh, interesting. Yeah, there it is. You just said you're going to 7-Eleven make it. That is. Oh, there's a big difference, man. Hormel chili is a different flavor. It's like it's not the same. Like if you go get the chili that you put on the hot dogs at 7-Eleven, man, it's a world of difference. It's a lot sharper. It doesn't have that like to me, the Hormel has this kind of like gloopiness to it that like coats your palate, like almost like a waxiness to it, and this kind of like deadened flavor to it. Whereas the one at 7-Eleven, I mean, it's not fancy or anything, but it's a sharper. It cuts through more. I think it's a more classic taste for eating with hot dogs or the frito pie. Like, but the Hormel, no, I did not enjoy that. Yeah, George says it has terrible. Yeah, it has that there's that gloopiness to it that just very unpleasant, unfortunately, very unpleasant. All right, so we're getting close. So I'm going to remove this band. And I would say that we've finished now the second third. Oh, good Lord. See, that's the problem with this thing. So we were at 8.25s on the last third, but this one definitely because it got heavily impacted by that. So I'm saying 7.5. And I think it's consistently dropped in both. All right, flavor definitely was impacted by relight. So here we are. We're going to look a little bit closer at this one. Oh, let me pull this back here. George's going to take off. All right, man. Thanks very much. Prep my snacks for a critical role. Critical role? What is that? Well, good to see you, my friend. Have a great one. See you soon. So here it is. Here's where the two wrappers meet, along with the Q. We're getting close to actually burning into the Q, so I wonder how much that's going to hit the palate. Oh, so Rusty says check the back of the band. Oh, it's like a fortune cookie. So it says here, I see money in your future. It is not yours. In bed. That's cute. That's cute. That's cute. Buddy says, sounds like Taco Bell. This food's don't. Yeah, it's not very good. It's not very. Oh, so there's a little bit of hollowing out since it fell out, right? So it's impacted the way that. Oh, Critical Role is the D&D. Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up. That sounds kind of interesting. I did not know you were a D&D guy. I tried playing it when I was young, wanted to play it, but I never really was able to find a group to play it with, so I never really was able to get too into it. Leave it to the Southwest to modify the frito pie bag. I had to puff on it a little bit harder to get. So it kind of when that cherry of the or that solid part of the ash fell out, it kind of like caused. I guess it caused part of it to like die out, so it's not pulling evenly. So I'm going to puff on a little bit more harder to get it to light through. Rusty wants to know, do you have a fully functional kitchen at the roastery? Well, it's a yes and no kind of thing. I have a fully licensed commercial kitchen here at the roastery. However, it's more of a testing kitchen rather than a full production kitchen, in that it is missing critical ingredients for full on restaurant style cooking. Like, there is no hood. And the burners that I really use mainly are these butane tabletop burners. I do have a couple of larger, what do you call it? I do have a couple of the larger inductions, but mostly it's going out. It's going out again. That's very irritating. And now there's this little acrid flavor on the palate because it went out. Tony said you couldn't get your LARPing group to play. The problem is, the LARPers don't want to sit down and play D&D. They want to go out and beat everybody with swords. It's, sometimes beating everyone with swords is just a little bit exhausting. And you sweat and you get all smelly and then you have to shower. Maybe you don't want to shower, but you still have to, because otherwise your clothes get all smelly. You know what it's like. All right, so we're going to relight this thing. Yeah, for sure. Well, why don't we do this? When you come down on next weekend or whatever the weekend is, then why don't you come by and I'll show you around and we can make some plans. There's a little bit of harshness now. It's always too much like exercise. That's why you want to park in the handicap spot. Brian says, Drunk History said LARPing began. Did it? I don't know. My friends started it. They were the LARPing people. It was like play indoor soccer or LARP. They weren't from South Baltimore, so they wanted to LARP. So there's a sharpness now after the relight that just kind of cuts across the tongue. So the pleasure has definitely decreased because now I'm also into the cue. So I wonder if there's any impact of that. Maybe that's introducing unfortunately, the relight came at the same time that we started burning into this. So it's hard to determine whether that sharpness is coming from this, whatever this dark Maduro tail is. But overall, the smoking has been very good. If we think about it, for $6.60, it has been very good. It's definitely now there's a sharpness, there's a little bit more of this brightness that's across the tongue. So it's not, to me, it's not as enjoyable as it was. It was very enjoyable here. Now, not so much. I've had a couple of them and did not get the sharpen last third. Well, I think it's one of the things here is that it's not, I don't know if it's necessarily a dud, but I think a lot of that is probably because it went out and that relight affected the flavor of it. And Brian wants to know if Rusty tasted the tail. And when we lit the tail earlier, the aromatics coming off it were rather pleasant. I'm wondering what's going to happen, though, when we finally make the switch and the transition through the wrappers. Will this lighter wrapper, will this add to the experience? Actually, I'm curious to know. Is there a way to tell which one was laid? Oh, okay, there we are. You can see here that the lighter wrapper was laid after. So the Maduro wrapper or the Habana wrapper goes all the way through. Rusty said he had a different smell but did not taste anything. And Tony says, was not a difference noticeable, different flavor, different feel. Yeah, I would imagine, now that we've seen that it's not like it's truly being replaced. So I think maybe all the flavor or all the flavor that's coming from this outer wrapper, the lighter wrapper, is really just going to be on the palate itself because we're on the lips. So it's something that you've been tasting the entire experience. But I think it's at a great price point. Like, I don't know too much about Punch cigars. Tony, you have these at your shop, right? So are the punches all around the same price point? Or are there a number of punches in this price point? So far, the coffee's been a nice accompaniment. Bright coffee, pleasant, a little bit of sweetness to it. There's a little bit of heat buildup now. I'm guessing that's just because we're getting the proximity now of the cherry to the end of the cigar. This is interesting. If we look closely at the cap here, the end part here, it's gotten darker in the center. Like it wasn't that black before. So I wonder if that's tar buildup coming through the cigar. Yeah, this is not bad. This overall is not bad. Actually, I'm asking because, I'm wondering, like, would this be a nice cigar for the road? I'll be heading to Boston in next month for the big trade show in the coffee industry. And so typically when it's in Boston, I drive to Boston, and that's a 6-hour, 8-hour trip. Usually I smoke cigars on the way. I like to smoke in the car. It helps me to like get through the monotony of driving. Plus, the nice thing about going to Boston is it gives me the opportunity to make the drive up to New Hampshire to go visit Two Guys Cigars. They always have like a lot of nice stuff going on there. The last time we were in Boston, a couple years back in 2019, I went up there, had a nice time hanging out with Mr. Jonathan from the Cigar Authority podcast. So here it is. Here's the tail. As you can see, because it's riding above the wrapper, it's no longer burning evenly. It's not, the glue has come off, so it's rising. So I guess the glue's pretty tight right here where my finger is. So I guess it'll like relight there. And we're right on the cusp of that transition. So we'll see if there might be any kind of difference. Have any of you guys seen that Spider-Man movie, No Way Home? I haven't seen it yet. Oh, you know what I watched today, though? I did watch that Jennifer Lopez movie called Marry Me. That was cute. That was a cute movie. I always like to watch Jennifer Lopez movies. I'm still very salty at one of my friends One of my friends is a second unit director in movies, and a number of years back, he was calling me. He was texting me every once in a while. He's like, "Hey man," I said, "Where are you in the world?" He's like, "I'm in New Orleans shooting." I was like, "Oh, cool, cool." He's like, "Why don't you come down?" I was like, "Well, I'd love to come down. I mean, I'm a little bit kind of tied up." And so when I saw him later that year, so that was like in April, March, April. I didn't see him again till like October. He lives up in he lives up in Vermont, and he was like, "Man, I wish you came down to New Orleans. I was shooting the Jason Statham movie with Jennifer Lopez." I was like, "Oh, that's cool." He's like, "Yeah, I would hang out with Jennifer at night and go out." And I was like, "Dude, you were hanging out with J-Lo and you didn't bother to tell me. If you had told me that, hey, I'm hanging out with J-Lo, why don't you come down and let's hang out?" I would have dropped everything. I'd be like, "I'm canceling all appointments. Like every event I'm having, I'm canceling." It's like, "Hey, are you busy?" "Yeah, I'm busy. I gotta go. I'm going to New Orleans." "Why are you going to New Orleans?" "I'm going to New Orleans." I said, "Dude, you robbed me of my chance to date Jennifer Lopez. That was my opportunity to meet her and like at least hit on her." Oh man, that was the low point of my life. Things have been going downhill ever since. Rusty says, for FYI, the marathon is not the weekend of SC. Oh yes, actually, Yasmina told me that, and I was actually really surprised because you know what? It's super expensive. Like some of those hotels are like $350. I still haven't made a hotel reservation. I still have to do that. I finally got a pass. I called up a friend of mine and said, "Hey man, can you send me a guest pass?" So I need one more guest pass because guest pass is only 2 days. It's a 3-day event. So I need to get one more guest pass. We were actually there that year at the marathon when they had the bombing in 2013. That was pretty crazy. I was with Rusty's sister and his brother-in-law, and when that happened, we were hanging out in Cambridge when they had the bomb go off, and it was pretty crazy. They say the oldest coffee shop in the world was in Boston, or one of the very first coffee shops in the United States was in Boston, a place called the Green Dragon. Of course, in the 1700s, the coffee shops were not like what we have coffee shops. They were more like pubs that also served coffee and food and beverage. But the Green Dragon, there is a Green Dragon now in the north end, the Italian area. And it has nothing to do with the original, but these guys started up again, and it's an Irish style pub from what I've been reading. Rusty wants to know, what name will you be in your pass this year? I haven't decided the name yet. I'm thinking about going. I mean, the last time I did, I used one of the passes I had. I used Thor Titanus, something like that. I might still have it somewhere here. I'm one of those people that doesn't like that, like keeps all of his show badges. So I've got them hanging here. I got most of them hanging here in the office. It's just kind of on the walls. It's stacks of. So what's been going on in you guys' world? I've always been hiding out still. I finally got off my butt and started to design new labels because I've got new coffees that are coming out. I'm going to release them probably next week. The first one will come out next week, and then maybe 2 more weeks after that, we'll do another one. And they're kind of fun. I mean, there's one I'm doing because we've always done like a house blend, when we had the cafes. And I've always been wanting to do this one called House Nation. And so I actually made a label and now have coasters with them. And these coasters go with every order. But House Nation, this is really based off the 12-inch record label from a real record called House Nation by a group called the Housemaster Boys. And so I took their label and designed our label off of that. So just kind of funny, Ryan says the Green Dragon that's Irish, is that racist? I imagine that it's not so racist if they're Irish. Right? Like it's just like the N-word. We can't really say it, but they can, and that's okay. Yes, Titan. Because Thanos, I use Titanus, because Thanos comes from Titan. Oh yeah, maybe I'll do that one again. Okay, anyone know why Privada fans are they hating on Fuente? Oh, let's see. Privada cigar. I have not heard this. Let's see what they say on the internet. Oh, here's a video that I think that George Brightman would like. 10 reasons you should hate the Privada Cigar Club. Let's see. Where have you seen this, Rusty? Dice says Elvis Bravo, not bad. Although I would probably just use Elvis Presley. Let's see what this. Just please stop marketing cigars to children. I wonder what that's all about. Justin Croft sent the press release announced new line under the Munchies name, with the first flavor being Rocky Road, images of chocolate ice cream with marshmallows on the packaging. Huh. Admittedly, we don't write regular editorials bashing the decisions of companies. I don't know why they don't. I think they should. I think that if you're really going to be a media outlet, you should be open. You should be willing to be critical of the industry that you're covering. I think that's perfectly fair. Rusty's asking, George is not a fan of. Well, I really can't. I shouldn't speak while he's not around to discuss it. But in previous times when we've talked about the Privada Cigar Club on the show, he's had decidedly strong reactions, I'd say. I don't really understand the reasons why. We actually never really talked about that in person, so I don't really know what the deal is for sure. But it's all in the Facebook Privada. Oh, let's have a look at that. Let me pull that up here. Let's see what they say. I don't know if I'm a member. I don't know if I'm a member of the Privada Cigar Club. Oh, I'm not. We'll sign up now. Oops. I have to answer all these questions. Let's see if we can get in there. All right, I signed up. See what they say. Admins have received my answers and will see about request approval. So we'll see if we get a response before we get out of here. All right, where's the 10 reasons that they talk about here? Marketing should be a major concern. Yep, got that. It's not about actually trying to sell to a kid. Not marketing to children is a cornerstone of premium cigar industry defense against FDA. Oh, yeah, that's... First, they came for the big bird cigars. No one wants more restrictions. That's true. Can't propose self-regulation or don't self-regulate. Yeah, I think there is a point to be said there where, you should not be doing, especially if you want to avoid scrutiny, you should not be promoting stuff in a way that could be construed. That just makes it simpler. But I think Jasum Kral, with their release of the FDFTDA cigar, kind of shows their position. Like, trolling. Well, that's interesting. I haven't really read this. I'll have to write. Munchies, Rocky Road, enhanced premium. I mean, why do you want to even make a cigar that tastes like Rocky Road? That seems... As you say, flavors infused cigars are a huge part of the cigar industry, yet many connoisseurs of traditional cigars despise them. And we ask them why. The often answer boils down to the chemical taste of the sweetened wrapper and the overdose of flavoring, masking the poor quality tobacco and real tobacco flavor. Justin Kral decided to tackle the issue: premium handmade cigar with quality tobacco, but with enhanced flavors. Flavors that don't... Here's the thing that I would wonder. It's like, I get it. I mean, you take nice quality tobacco, and even in coffee, it's like that. We take, like, when it comes, let's say, like, for example, in my purview is the dark roasted coffees, right? A lot of people who do dark roasting of coffees, whether they're commercial roaster, well, especially commercial roasters, but even the ones that are non-commercial, more specialty type of operators, their whole belief is that why would you put quality coffee and then roast it or burn it? And I found that even if you're doing a heavy roast, like a French roast, maybe even an Italian roast, if you're getting really dark, I think that if you're using the high quality coffee, you're still getting the qualities of that coffee coming through, even though it's a dark roast. And I can see you might want to do that. But if you're actually going to enhance the flavor of that tobacco with chemical additives, I've not seen it done in a truly interesting way. Like, I had that, I think it's made by Drew Estate. Something, I think it's called the Betty, bouncing Betty. I think that's the one. I was at this cigar shop in just outside of what's that place right by you, Tony? Not Stewartstown, but the main town, right off the freeway. There's that cigar shop out there, and I got one of those. I guess it was a Betty one, and I didn't know that it was flavored or sweet when I bought it, because I'd never seen it before. And so I bought it and I tried it, and I was like, oh God, not pleasant. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I know most of you guys don't even like to put up with the acids. Yes, all right. New Freedom in Shrewsbury. Yeah, I think it was in New Freedom, right? That it was actually a nice cigar shop, like a kind of spacious cigar lounge, a decent selection of cigars. I think it's woman owned. Crazy House, that's the one. Yeah, I didn't. It was not to my liking. And we're getting down to it. Other than that, we're almost to the end. As you can see, the queue has not reignited. So I don't know if it's enhanced or added anything to it at all. So I can only surmise that had we not had to gone through 2 relights in the cigar, it would probably be quite nice. How about Tony Rocky Horror for your back? Oh, that could be bad. That could be pretty good. Was his name really Tony? I can't remember. I haven't seen the Rocky Horror Picture Shows in years, decades. In the 80s, we used to go. There was a mall called Golden Ring Mall, and they used to have the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I don't know if they did it every weekend or just a few times a year. But, we would go to that every once in a while. That was always kind of fun. I don't know if they still do that. Do they still do Rocky Horror Picture Show screenings where people are throwing rice and all that kind of stuff and dancing and singing? I really enjoyed that. I thought that was kind of fun. Yeah, we're definitely getting down to the end here. All right, let's see where we are. I think the body has relatively remained the same. So maybe we'll 7.5 for the body. I think 7.0. The burn overall was, not too great. I mean, the burn, because it died twice, so that's not a good thing. The draw was always nice and consistent. So I'm going to say 7.25. Consistency, 7. Overall, 7.5. All right, let's calculate this. Let's calculate this up. So 8.25, 8.25, 7.5, 7.5. Unfortunately, as we continued through the cigar, it did lose. So I'm saying, here, I'll show you. Here we are. We are having, I thought the fragrance cold draw was a good solid 8. And then flavor and body for the first third, 8.25. Flavor, it degraded during that time because we had that part of it go out in the middle of the second and third. So it dropped it down to 7.5 for the body and flavor. And then the body consistently into the third third, even though we had that another flame out. But I would definitely say that the flavor dropped 7. That's even being generous. 7.25 for the burn and draw, 7 for the consistency, and overall I'd say 7.5, and that gives us a total of 75.75. So Brian wants to know if 7 plus is above good, would you buy it? Yeah, I would say that I would buy it again. And why? Because this is a $6 cigar. I think it's worthy of $6. Like, let's say by the time that it went out the second time towards the last third, that's probably it was probably, the rest of the experience, you could have put it down and like just dump the whole thing. And, at 660, that's not too bad. Like, you don't feel terrible necessarily about putting it down into the last third. If it was a $12 cigar, yeah, that's a lot more disappointing. $18 cigar, much more disappointing. Like you definitely you can. I do think there's a lot more flexibility when you're talking about lower price point cigars. And I think that, while I said 7.25, 7.04 flavor in the last third, I mean, it could be argued that it could be lower. I think there's definitely room somewhere between 7 to 6.5 for the last third flavor. Brian says the 858 is also $6 cigar. I'll buy another. Does that mean you didn't like it or you did like it? Rusty wants to know Fu Manchu versus Kung Pao. It's part of the reason that I wanted to do scoring of cigars. I think that it helps to give a better assessment of it, as well as a history of the cigar. Like now, looking back upon the previous year and a half of cigar episodes and the different cigars we smoked, it's one of those things where like the Kung Pao, I remember smoking it. I remember not necessarily having a negative reaction to it, but specifics on it, I have no idea. I mean, at this point, it's so far away that it's hard to recall. I mean, all things being equal, let's say they're both $6, six something. This is the Toro. That was a Robusto, right? So you're getting more cigar. You're getting more value technically for the money. So I would say, with that in mind, I would say this one over the Kung Pao. Brian says the 8.5 age is above average, but I'm not thinking I want to. Okay, fair enough. Rusty says that his favorite cigar is still the $7 Fuente Cuban Corona. Oh, gosh, I haven't had one of those in a long time. Tony asks, can you do a fair assessment after one cigar? Well, that's an interesting question. And one that I do think that, like in the coffee world, this type of grading system is actually designed during critical tastings of a coffee. We're actually using 5 samples of the cigar in unison, which gives you a lot more insight into whether any kind of defect or anomaly in one of the 5 samples is really just kind of an anomaly, or is it more consistent, or is it actually a characteristic of that coffee? So I think it's fair to say that, to ask that question, like, should an assessment of a cigar be over multiple cigars? And I do think there's definitely an argument for that. However, in the cigar world, I think that, for most people, especially when they're spending at greater price points than $650, $660, especially when you get to the plus $10 range, I think there's a lot less, or there's more argument for a cigar being impacting you the way that it should. Like there should be less room for error the pricier it goes. And I do understand the whole argument that it's a handmade product and all that. And yeah, that's all true, and the handmade product means that they're more prone to errors in construction. But it goes back to the point of you're spending, let's say, for example, the T52s from Drew Estate, which has traditionally been one of my very favorite cigars. At $12, it was a good smoke. At $18, like, I don't buy them anymore because of that. Because, to buy a box, you're talking $350, $400 some dollars, and that's a lot of money to put out for a box for a cigar that, even though you do like it, and especially if you're buying one at a time and you're exploring it, I think that, you want to get that value for your money. And then also for the parameters of our show, it becomes it's difficult. It's difficult, if not outright impossible, to do that within the format of one show. For reviews online, where you have a lot more time to smoke multiple cigars, for that, I think that's a good way to go. And I do think that if you're someone that's watching the show, trying to figure out whether or not what I tell you has validity or value to you, it's one of those things that I think you should take into account, that, we are smoking only one example of a cigar. And if the luck of the draw is that we happen to get a bad example of a cigar, I think that's something that, you should definitely take into consideration. And I think it goes back to what we talked about earlier in our discussion with ice creams and burgers. Everybody has a different perspective on the burger. Like, for example, the Shake Shack. I'm not a fan of Shake Shack. I've done it 3 times now over many years. And the last time I had it was when I was in Manila, and they had the opening of the first Shake Shack there, which is in May of 2019. So it's been a while since I've had it. And so, but I think that if you're a person that's watching, trying to decide if you want to try a cigar, that's why I think it's important to be able to look at multiple sources and, review them and then decide, okay, maybe that's the one I do want to try, or that's worth trying or not. Brian says a single cigar should be all you need to assess. If it's below average, then we can't assume 8 cigars. I mean, but I see that point, but I do think that there's something to be said by doing multiple cigars. Like, in a box of cigars, for example, like that bundle of Stone Thrones, Crook of the Crowns that I bought a year ago. I smoked 18 of them from February to November. They were all kind of disappointing. And I'm presuming that's because it was taking this aging time, right? So by the time I got to the last 2 in November, those 2 were banging. So the potential is there, but the thing is, like, I spent what, $250, $225 for a bundle of 20, and I truly only enjoyed 2 of them. That's why I think that's why I tend to buy 1. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense or not. But that's just some thoughts. All right, so I'm going to put this down now, because we are really at the very end of this cigar. I have smoked it as pretty much all that I could smoke. Interesting enough, unlike some cigars, this is actually not burning my fingers. It's actually still very cool on my fingers. And the cherry's right there. Like, it's right on me. And going back to that whole thing, is like, when you buy more expensive cigars, yeah, I do think one cigar should be a good representation of what the brand, or what that line is about, because it really sets the tone for what you're going to try next. Like, if you spent $15 on a cigar and you didn't enjoy it, are you really going to smoke it again? All right, I'm going to put that down. That's enough of that. All right, that's good. That's good. Next week, we're going to be coming back, and I should look it up. Let me pull it up here. Our schedule of cigars for the coming weeks. All right, what do we have coming up? We've got coming up next week is the Crowned Heads Las Calaveras 2021 LC48. Then on the 17th, we're going to hit that. The 17th, we're going to do the Ace Prime, the Sergeant. And then the 24th, the HVC 500th Aniversario Tesoros. And then finally, at the very end of the month, we're going to try and put to the test the Roma Craft Intemperance BA21 Revenge. As you all know, that's my favorite cigar. And we're going to put that to our test and see what we have to say. And who knows, maybe that'll be a bad example. And then we'll have to give it the score that it gets on that time. But you know how it is. All right, so that's pretty much it for this week. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you spending another Thursday night with me. We'll be back again next Thursday, 8 p.m. as always, here broadcasting to you live. So be sure to come back and join me again. Nice to have you all. It's been a good time. We talked a lot about interesting stuff, burgers and custard and ice creams and Rocky Road cigars. So, all right, have a great week, and see you next time.